Hello everybody, my name is Alan, I'm from Sauber-Lab and today will be another video about Raspberry Pi. Exactly, today we're gonna use another Raspberry Pi to have another application. So in this video specifically, we're gonna show how you can install Octoprint. Before we start to ask Alan why I want to install Octoprint in my system or in my Raspberry Pi, the answer is simple. You can manage your 3D printer anywhere that you are, and you can do a lots of application. You can preheat your printer, you can see what's going on if you attach a webcam, and you can do much more functionality. In this way, you don't need to be in your printer, try to select the file that you want to print, and that wait to see if everything's alright. You can only, in a click of button, you can start to print, you can follow all the steps, you can create time-lapse, and you have a lots of other applications that will make your print life much easier. So if you like this idea and want to learn a little bit more about it, we're going to show in this video. But first of all, don't forget to leave a like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed, and let's understand a little bit more about it. Before we start to explain how we can do this installation, we need to understand what we need to have to do this installation. So first thing, we need to have a Raspberry Pi. In this case, Raspberry Pi 5. Don't try to use Raspberry Pi 5. At this stage, they don't support Octoprint. So I'm using a Raspberry Pi 4, but it's already connected to my printer, so I didn't want to remove it, only to show it. But anyway, it will be basically the same. Other thing, we need to have a webcam. In this case, this webcam, I print already this support exactly to have enough distance. I'm using Logitech 720p, so it's not the best quality, but will be good enough for my application. And also, the last thing that you need to have a USB connection that you connect from your Octoprint directly to your printer. Have this one in place, then we can start to do the installation. But before I start to explain how I can do the installation, I need to explain why I want to do this installation or use the Octoprint. Basically, I have a Ender 3. If you come here in my screen, it's more or less this one, what has been released around 2018, and around this period I decided to buy this printer because I like to create lots of different things. I like to be able to get something, I like to be able to print my cases, what save money. I want to create different support, create anything that I want. So if you guys look in my back, I have that L shape. Those L shapes initially that I bought, it's basically a normal L shape. I will try to put in the screen, and this was not strong enough and it was moving. So I say I have two options. I can buy another L shape and spend twice the money, or I can just print something and develop something different shape to be strong enough and fit for my needs. What I did, the same thing for some covers, and continue on. So my 3D printer is used for different applications. I do everything in the CAD, and that I decided to print. I make some wall mount, or either I use the Thingiverse to find some print that I want to do and just print it and play around. And in these last years I use quite a lot. The only problem is all the time that I want to use, I don't want to go get my print, turn on, leave it to warm up, go back my house, prepare all my G-code, and that's copy in my SD card, and then from the SD card I put in my printer. I wait to select what file that I want, put to print, wait to print. Sometimes I can go home and I don't know if it's printing or if it fail with everything. So in this way come really handy the Octoprint, because I can just get my G-code, upload in my SD card or directly my Raspberry Pi, I print it, I run it quite well, and that I can see what is going on with my webcam. Of course, the original Ender 3 you cannot have out leveling, but I bought a BT Touch, and that's in this way I can out leveling, so I don't need to worry about anything. I just need to put play and wait to warm up, wait to start to print, and sometimes I look what is going on. I can do time lapse and continue. So it's quite useful and quite good to have and friendly to understand and run the system. So in this way, if you guys come here in my screen, the application that you're going to install is this Octoprint. And this Octoprint, the name say, it's a snap web interface for your 3D printer. And basically they have a full remote control compatible with some standalone applications, 100% open source, so you're not going to spend anything. And you can have a lot of information. You can upload directly the G-code, check the temperature, move access, see what is going on, and basically make everything easy for you. Use Wi-Fi, or you can use directly a network cable. You can set up to turn on, turn off your print and other things. So have this one in mind. We're gonna do this installation, and to do the installation, first thing that you need to have, it's your SD card, and the SD card I need to connect to my computer. Once that I connect my SD card, what I'm gonna need to open is my Raspberry Pi image. And here my Raspberry Pi image, I need to select my device. As I told, I'm using Raspberry Pi 4, so I'll come here, choose device, and choose Raspberry Pi 4. I cannot use Raspberry Pi 5 because if I choose here and try to go for the specific purpose and go to 3D print, I don't have this Octoprint. I have other systems for 3D print. And also you don't need to have a Raspberry Pi 5 to run your 3D print, because basically it'll be a loss of money and you don't use so much power. You can either use a Pico 0 2W and it will work well. But because I have this Raspberry Pi 4, I'll use this Raspberry Pi 4. I'll put choose, and I come exactly the same others specific proposal as. I'm coming here my 3D print, and I will select the Octoprint. And I selected the stable version. And now I choose my storage. I choose the same SD card that I have. I have 32 GB, but if you have a smaller one, you can still use it, because Octoprint uses a few megabytes for your storage, so it's totally fine. Now next stage, we need to put next, and they will prompt you with this information. If you already installed Octoprint in the past, was a little bit different installation, because you needed to format your SD card, you needed to copy all the files over, you needed to create a folder called SSH, and then you're gonna need to configure it and take a little bit longer. In this way, it's really simple, because you can come here and put edit, and I can set the name of my host, I can set my user and my password if I want to access through the SSH. I can select my Wi-Fi, so I don't need to go physically in my Raspberry Pi and set up Wi-Fi, or I don't need to do any extra configuration. Here it's done. Other thing, I can come here my service, and I can select SSH. If you're gonna use it, it's interesting. If not, you disable, but I always like to enable, because first I will not leave this system outside from the network, and other, I will not give the standard password. I will put a random one that's quite difficult to brute force it. So for me, I'm safe. If I'm gonna use externally other thing, yes, maybe I will disable this option, but for me, I will only use internal and use VPN if I want to access this Raspberry Pi. So I put save, and now I can put yes. And I put yes. Remember that once that you put yes, all your data will be erased for this SD card, so make sure that it's clean and ready for you to install. Now you need to wait, because they will flush all the information in the SD card. They will do the verification. Once that everything's done, they will prompt with a message to say, yes, it's done, it's ready. So in this stage, what you need to do, you need to get your Raspberry Pi, you need to connect the SD card in your Raspberry Pi. Other thing, you need to get your webcam. You can connect this webcam to your Raspberry Pi. And the last, you need to have your USB cable that you connect to your 3D printer. Each 3D printer could be a different cable. Mine is quite old, but if you have a more up-to-date 3D printer, potentially you can use Type-C, Type-B, and continue on. So once that you connect everything, you can power on your 3D print, you can power on your Raspberry Pi. You can do exactly the same as me. You can have a drop-down tension. PCB is quite cheap, and that you can connect to your power supply for your 3D printer. In this way, you only connect it, and once that your print is on, your Raspberry Pi is on, and that's it started to work. And you can do all these things to basically turn on and turn off your system. So in this way, now we're gonna connect everything to the power. We're gonna connect to my printer, and then I can go for the next step of installation. So let's do it now. After you insert your SD card and you wait a couple of minutes, you're gonna have access for this page. Of course, you need to look for Rota to find the correctly page for you to look. So here they will say, hello, thank you for install Octoprint. It means that your installation is working and you can install step by step your Octoprint. So now I can put next, and they will give the option to recover a backup. Because I don't have any backup, I needed to do as a 0, I'll put next. In my case, I will set up a user as Sauber-Lab, and I'll put my password and put create account. Put a strong password because you want to guarantee that no one will have access to it. Either that you don't expose this application outside for a network, always have the chance that if someone in your network can try to access your printer and try to print something. Of course, this reason that you're gonna put a password. Next, and here they will ask about connectivity. It means that they will try to access some website or pin it to see if it's still connected to the network. So they will check each 50 minutes, and here will be our DNS. It means that I will use my Cloudflare DNS 1.1.1. If you want to choose the Google, try to put 8.8.8.8, but doesn't matter so much. And here will be a host that they will try to ping. I leave as a standard Octoprint, and I can put test host, and that they will work. If you want to put Google or anything else, you need to test it to make sure that it's working. And here let's enable this connectivity. Now I put next, and here they ask if you wanted to have anonymous track information. This one is good for you, guarantee that if you have any problem, anything, the developer is aware and that they can improve for next revision. So I'll always allow it, anyway, it's anonymous, so allow it to be tracked. Now I put next, and here they will ask me if I wanted to turn on the plugin called blacklist. It means that if your user try to access more than few times this server, the IP address of your system or your computer will be locked. It's good if you are expose it outside for the network, but in my case I will use only my network, and if I want to use outside I will use a VPN, so it's pointless to have this blacklist enabled. So I'll leave disable and I'll put next. Now they will give the option for my webcam. So if I come here in test, I can see my webcam. This one's a live video, and if I close here and put for my snapshot, they will give a snapshot. So everything's work. I can put next, and now I can set up the name of my printer. In my case, the printer that I use is Ender 3. I can put this name, and I can put as model creativity Ender 3. At least I know what is the printer. Here I set the size of the bed. My case is rectangular bed. It's a lower left to the origin. I have a heat bed, I don't have a heat chamber, and here will be the size. If I come here back, the size of my printer will be 220 by 220 by 250, so I will put the same configuration to reflect it. One thing that's interesting for you is you need to put the same size, because if you want to print a G-code that have the size, and you set up your print only for 200, they will not allow you to print, because basically will be over the size and can damage the printer. So make sure that you set it properly. Now I can put here access. I can leave this one as standard because I don't want to set up a fast speeds anything else. And here my heat extruder, I can leave the size of nozzle. It's interesting for you set up it, either that you're gonna set up your G-code. It's interesting for you set up on to make sure that it's aligned. And also the number of extruders that you have, and I'll put next. Now it's time to finish. You need to accept those, otherwise they will not let you to go for next step, and I can put finish. Now my printer is set up. I only need to reload, and here it's connect. No, it's not connect yet because I need to physically connect. What I like to do is put auto connect to set up when I start, so all the time that my print is started, they will auto connect to my network, and here now I know that will be connect once that temperature is started to show here. And now start to show the temperature. The temperature of my tool is 14 degrees and my bed is 14.8. I can come here and set up to warm up as a PLA, what will make my printer tool start to go up in the temperature. If I come here and put stop, they will stop to heat, and the same thing will be for my bed. Now if I come here in control, I can configure it to move this print wherever I want. So I can put here, and that my bed will go forward, my bed will go backwards, my head or my will be in my left, and will come here in my right. Why they don't go more in my left? Because they didn't check the 0. So if I come here home, they will go up and they will go until my stopper and say here's this stopper, and that will set up. Here will be exactly the same. I can go up, but I cannot go much down because they are words that will damage the bed. So the limit is what has been set up, unless I set up to make my 0 point. So if I come here my 0, they will go in the center of the bed, go a little bit up, and open my probe. Because I did some modification, I added this bed, this glass bed, and I use my BTIC probe, so they will be able to go up and down and say what is my 0. If I come here my G code, he will show, once that is printing, all the steps, what is going on, what is not going on, and that's you know what's next step. If it's something's print wrong, or you want to see next steps or next layers, you can go up or down. Here will be the terminal, so they will give some information for my bed, what is the 0 code, and continue on. And here where you can set up your time lapse. If you want to make a video for your print, you can set up for each minute or each Z layer, they will be locating, stop, going aside, and let you to get look like a screenshot or a picture and go back. In this way you can see that nice videos that the layers is going up, 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 up until the end. But depend what material that you're gonna use, they will do some strings, and depend how much will take, this will take longer, because all the time they will print, stop, go out, come back, print another layer, go out, come back, look nice, but take a long time to print. And here, if I come here in settings, I can see all my settings, I can see my checks, my behavior. But one thing that's interesting, if I come here in my plug management, I can get more and add more plugs, I can export, I can import more plugs, I can search some specific plugs, and that will make your system more optimized or more customized for you. And also interesting, you can always do some backup. You can backup your system to make sure that if your SD card stops to work, you still have all your configurations safe and ready for you to only restart once that you buy the new SD card. So if I close here and don't save anything, now you're gonna ask, Alan, how can I start to print? It's simple. If I come here in temperature only to simulate, I can only drag my G-code file here. So what means, if I come here, I drag, I can drag in my local upload or my SD card. In my case, I don't have any SD card in my print, so it will not work. So I can drop here, they'll do the upload, and here I can just come here and put print. Once that put print, they will start to warm up the bed, we start to warm up the tool, and that's get ready you to print. They will do all the bed leveling, because I added this bed leveling. I can set up it. If not, you need to go with the paper and check the positions and confirm that everything is in place and correctly. So in this way, we arrive in the end of the video. I hope that you guys like this video. If you like, please don't forget to leave your like, consider subscribe for the channel, and see you next time. Bye.